What is up, everyone? Welcome to another installment of Draft Prospects that the Buffalo Bills should be looking at this year in the 2023 NFL Draft. We've got a fun show tonight. We're going to get into couple linebackers, not a couple, but 4 or 5 linebackers that we're really interested in. We're going to catch you up on some free agency news that happened in the last couple days. And then we're going to do 2 7-round mock drafts, which is going to be fun. Mike, I say myself, I'm looking at the screen, I say Mike. Mike and Jake are going to team up, myself and Jake, we're going to team up to do one of those 7-round drafts. And then Sean and Brett are going to do the other 7-round mock draft. Going to be a lot of fun. So let's get caught up right away and let's go over to Jake. Catch us up on some free agency news that has happened the last few days.
Of course, Mike. Well, pleasure to be here again with you boys. Pretty fired up here. So this week was interesting. Obviously the free agency period, the big names went in the first week. There are still a lot of big names left, believe it or not. The Bills made a couple moves this week. Some not so great, others better than most. Personally, I actually think I liked all the moves that they made this week. However, sometimes you do scratch your head at times because you just don't know really what's going on in Brandon Beane's head. So it started off this week with the signing of Trent Sherfield, who is a solid football player, a little bit of size. He's a slot receiver, 6'1", 206, really, really good blocking receiver, and unbelievable with yards after the catch. And I think that is something that the Bills have really strived for in terms of their signings in this offseason here, between Deontay Hardy and now Trent Sherfield. So it's intriguing to me because you could have maybe taken that money that you spent on both those guys and went for someone bigger, bigger name-wise, maybe a better player per se, but they elect to go for 2 guys that are essentially going to be depth pieces, probably role players, I hope role players in some capacity, and guys are going to play in the slot. So, the more and more I look at the signing, the more and more I actually do like it. Just in terms of him being a blocking receiver. Now, this does tell me one thing. It tells me that potentially Sean's boy Jay Kumaro may not have a job. There may be a chance that he gets cut, because another thing that Trent Sherfield does extremely well, I mean, right from the get-go, is play gunner. So I'll tell you this. I really do like the signing more and more as I look at it. He had a career high in yards last year. And guess what he said when he came to Buffalo? He wanted to play with an elite quarterback. How did he become a better receiver? Playing with an elite quarterback. So I love the mentality already. The guy has had a few splash plays, even this past year with the Dolphins, where he took it to the house, just a little over route and took it the distance. So he's got the speed. He's got the burners. Didn't look it in that signing picture. I think a lot of people zoomed in his face. I think the camera caught him at a bad angle or something, because didn't look like, a guy that's going to burn you by any means. But I really do like the signing. Mike McDaniel, first off, is a wizard. Let's see if Ken Dorsey can capitalize off of what Mike McDaniel did with Trent Sherfield and make him into a contributor for this team. So that is the first signing of the week. Then we go a couple days later, and you see that the Bills signed Damien Harris, which is an awesome. I mean, you look at, first off, Motor ended up going to the Texans, Devin Singletary. So he is now a Houston Texan. 1 year, $3 million. I think a lot of people at that time were thinking like, 1 year, $3 million. I mean, we could have got this guy back. It would have been good. He's already built rapport with the team. Like, he already knows the system. Like, why wouldn't you just bring this guy back for a cheap deal like that? But then the numbers came out. We signed Damien Harris. Numbers come out. 1 year, $1.7 million. So we essentially upgraded at that position. I'm saying it's definitely an upgrade. Upgraded at the position, found a guy that really does fit that bigger short yardage back role that he's going to serve. And we got him at a freaking bargain, man. 1 year, $1.7 million. Are you kidding me? I mean, that dates back to the days where we're, crowning Brandon Beane this offseason champion of being able to negotiate and bring these guys in for a cheap deal. And that's exactly what he did with Damien Harris. And I absolutely love the move. Guy scored 15 touchdowns in 2021. This past year, he's banged up a little bit, but every time he seemed to play against the Bills, he showed up. I think he had 3 touchdowns actually in that Monday night game against us this past year. And then the year before, in that win game, took it the distance, had one of the only scores of that game. So Really, really like the signing here. He's got a great attitude. He's still young. He's got a lot left in the tank, and he's going to be a great complementary back to James Cook. So absolutely love that move. You know, first off, his press conference was incredible. Again, just two guys that it does echo what the Bills are looking for in terms of high character guys. So both him and Trent Sherfield absolutely epitomize that, and I love the move. I absolutely do. So then fast forward to technically today at 12:15. I think it actually happened last night, but the signing officially happened with David Edwards, a guard that played with the Rams. I will say he got absolutely cooked in the game that we played against him in the opener. Jordan Phillips made him his little B word. I mean, spin moves on him. I mean, he really took him to town. He got absolutely dummied against us. But I will say this: Aaron Cromer loves the guy. I think his first couple of years were better than what they were this year. This year, he only played in 4 games. He was banged up all year long. I think he actually got hurt in the game against the Bills. So, I think he's a nice added depth piece. Again, it's one of those things where you look at guys that we could have potentially signed, and it's like, why aren't you signing starters? Well, we technically did in Connor McGovern, and I think they have enough confidence that Ryan Bates is going to be the other starting guard. So when you look at what we did, it's just another depth piece. I don't mind the move. He's a big body guy, 6'6", 3 something. I mean, love the size there that he's bringing. Again, an Aaron Cromer guy. He loves Aaron Cromer, so not a bad move. But curious to see what you guys think about these. These are the 3 big moves that just happened this week. What do you think, Brett?
I'm honestly, I love the signing of Damian Harris.
I said 2 already.
Oh, yeah, 2? I thought it was just I've been slacking.
3.
He said 2. Yes. By the way,
Hey, yeah, let me just do the tally before we continue.
yeah.
So Jake had 5 week 1, Mike had 2,
Goodness.
Brett had 5, and I also had 2. Now Jake already has 2, 8 minutes in. So
That's unbelievable. I didn't even cross my mind. Brett, keep going. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry, guys. I was putting it in the private chat actually as we were you shifted over to me. But I love the Damian Harris signing. I think it's one of the better signings of the free agency period for the Bills. And I think it's a great compliment back to James Cook. If you look at James Cook, what he can do, he's the explosive back that can go down the field and take the top off of the defense. Then you add in Damian Harris, who can be more of the goal line back, that can be the bruiser, can fight for the extra yards, kind of like what Buffalo had with LaShawn McCoy. And then you add in a guy like Mike Tolbert or even Frank Gore. So I really love the signing. I believe that he will be an excellent back for the Buffalo Bills. And then you add in some smaller pieces for the Bills as well. It's also going to help out with the depth along the line because we don't have a really good offensive line. And I thought that the line was really bad last year, in my opinion, especially when it came to the interior offensive line. So I believe that we've upgraded the line, and that's one of the things that we needed to do this offseason. And while I wanted to do it through the draft, Brandon Beane said, no, we're going to go with our guys. We're going to fix it with Ike Bucker coming in. We're also going to fix it with David Edwards coming in. 2 great pieces. One guy that played in the Super Bowl, another guy that's been a very good backup for us as well. So we're filling positions, and now it looks like we're going to probably go with either a playmaker on the outside perimeter for a wide receiver or another guy in a linebacker or even possibly a defensive lineman in the first round.
Sure seems to be setting itself up that way. And that's a good point too, Brett. The fact that David Edwards has played in the Super Bowl, so he has that experience under his belt. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows what success looks like. Obviously, this past year, we can kind of write that off. I think he's looking to rebound and have a much better season this year. So what do you think, Sean?
By the way, real quick, Sean, don't give your opinion, but also talk about the big rumor going around about DeAndre Hopkins
Gotta talk about that.
coming over in a big trade. But yeah, go ahead.
Did you just say what I think you said?
Oh, he did. I think we
did.
got him.
I heard it.
Boy, someone's going to be real lucky.
Well, so the only move David Edwards one, it's okay. But again, it's just signing people that we hope is going to be good or we hope that's going to compete. But it's like when you look at right guard, Ryan Bates is bad, Ike Bacher is okay, and Edwards is okay. So it's like the answer isn't still found at right guard yet because I'm not sold on Bates. I even thought Bacher was better than Bates at guard before he got hurt. So we'll see about that. I still want to hit offensive line in the draft. This isn't an excuse to – I mean, you got to get 90 people on your roster before camp anyway. Right. So we're signing all these people now, but it doesn't mean if DeJuan Jones is there at 27, you just ignore him because you got David Edwards. You know what I mean? So it was okay. You know, like you said, Jake, he was pretty good his first couple years. He rated in the 70s and high 60s in PFF. And then, you know, last year he had a concussion most of the year, so he was out. So I don't hate that one, but it was okay. I like the Damian Harris one a lot, and I actually think Harris is better than James Cook. And I think we'll do a disservice if we don't give him the ball much. So, you know, he mentioned, I'm coming to Buffalo to, like, revitalize my career. And it's like, you're going to learn the art of humbleness and not get the ball much here, and you have to learn to make the most of your life. And that's one thing you're going to learn here. I don't know if it's going to revitalize you, but you're going to learn a lot of stuff being here. You know, can you do something with 6 carries a game or 7 or whatever? But I think he's better than James Cook. I think he's like Mike always mentions, James Cook's kind of timid and, you know, shears away from contact. Harris doesn't do that. And he's got burst too, as we've seen, as he carved us up multiple times every time we play him. So I like that one. I think he'll probably be the starting back, and I think he should be. I just think James Cook is just still learning. Again, he was pretty raw in college anyway, so he's got a little bit of learning to do. I'll put him in the number 2. So I think that Harris signing is very good value. And you guys know what I felt about the Sherfield one. He, you know, it's his 4th team in 6 years. He had 67 career catches, and 30 of them were last year. I don't see him being a massive contributor. You know, like you said, Mike McDaniel is a genius, and he was able to contribute 30 catches last year. Again, he's got some good plays in him, but it's another player where we're hoping to get something more out of him than what he's already shown. And that's a lot of what our team is made up of people they want to give a second chance to, which part of that is okay. I don't really like that as well, but I felt the same way after we signed Edwards today. Well, I think they're going to ignore the offensive line in the draft, and I don't like that because it's not figured out yet. And I think if you're going to take a chance on a guy in the NFL who's been in there for 4 or 5 years and hasn't quite lived up to what you thought he'd be, why not give a try to a younger guy with more upside? I mean, you gave Spencer Brown 2 years and you're going to give him a 3rd year. Why not draft DeJuan Jones or Darnell Wright or any of the guys we talked about? But now I'm just worried that they're going to ignore that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, Sean. And it's interesting when you do look at all the offensive line signings that were free agents from other teams, they've all been interior. Now, we did re-sign David Questenberry. That's another signing that happened this week. Technically just re-signing with the team, like I said. But curious to see now if that does change the whole, you know, landscape of what the draft's going to look like, because you re-sign David Questenberry. That's assuming probably that Spencer Brown is going to be the right tackle. And those are probably words that a lot of Buffalo Bills fans don't want to hear. Love the guy as a person, love him as a Buffalo Bill, embodying the Buffalo spirit and doing the beer can celebration. But in all honesty, I think he's better suited for heavy packages, maybe as an extra blocker, especially in the run game, because that's where he does thrive. But as a starting right tackle, I just don't know, man. I think a lot of us are very over it as him being the starting right tackle. So I don't know, man. I hope that they take a very hard look at DeJuan Jones and other guys out there, you know, especially, you know, even if you have to do it in the second round, if the guy isn't available in the first round, still look in the second round. You can get a guy like Matthew Bergeron, who I love. So I guess we'll see what happens with that, but time will tell.
You have to consider it. Like I said, at 2 years now, he's been bottom 5 at his position. And I know you like the guy. I know you drafted him.
Yeah.
But don't just be like, I have utmost faith and confidence in him. Well, you should, but you should still be actively looking to upgrade. I get maybe if they don't go guard in the first and second round and
right,
they just focus on one tackle and then maybe a center and a third, that's fine. Because, yeah, you got Bates has, you know, he's signed on the roster, you got a contract. You think he's going to start. You got competition with Bacher and Edwards. I understand that. I would still like to get a guard, or the center guard flex position, but you have to get a tackle. Like you have to absolutely have to get a tackle in the first or second round because Quisenberry is a great guy. He kicked cancer's ass. I love him for that, but he's not a starter anymore. He's a good backup. He was better than Brown when he went in, but he's just not a starter. And I just think if you draft a guy like Jones, then you really could see if Spencer Brown's about it, or if he's got that dog in him, or if he's really going to earn a position, because DeJuan Jones is going to be in there and then do whatever he can to get you out of that starting role. Right. So I think you have to absolutely consider it in the first and second round. And if you want to ignore a guard in the first and second round, I get it. But I still think if there's a great guard there in the second round or in the first round, you also have to consider that too, because Bates isn't the top of his position either. If you're top 10 to top 15, I could see, oh yeah, maybe I'll keep them. But if they're not, you have to be actively looking, especially if you're a team like Buffalo looking to improve. And that's where I'm at with all of it.
I agree with you, Sean, and I do think that the signing of Quisenberry is going to be something that helps Buffalo, because we didn't have a swing tackle that was a backup on the roster at the moment, especially with Bobby Hart being gone. And then Quisenberry was a free agent as well. So now you can add Quisenberry in as the swing tackle for left tackle as well as right tackle. And now you can look at drafting somebody in the first or second round to be the replacement potentially. I use the word, yes. I will admit it. I'll take the $5. That was worth it. That was worth it for that one, for Spencer Brown. So I don't know if you can really use that word that I just used as a bad thing, because I think we all would love to have Spencer Brown move on and be a backup for the Buffalo Bills. So if you add in a DeJuan Jones or even Anton Harrison or whoever the case may be in the first round, now you have a really good offensive line. You're upgrading it just like the Kansas City Chiefs did. While we didn't go after the big name free agents, you have some great depth along the line. You have guys that can move from one position to another, and now you have the versatility along the line. So you saw last year what happened with Buffalo. Almost every game, there is a different player at a different position. So now you have to use the versatility and move players around. And I think that's one thing that Buffalo needs to do a better job of, is getting that versatility and having players that can play each position, which we didn't have last year.
Hey, real quick. So let me give you my thoughts real quick. And I do want you to give the DeAndre Hopkins update.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry about that, Mike. I totally forgot.
Yeah, why don't you start with that? How much truth do you think there is to that? And what are you hearing in this rumor?
From what I've seen, it started off Arizona was looking for like a second round pick and a little bit more, but the word has been said it's looking more like it's going to be a Brandon Cooks type deal, a fifth and a sixth rounder. But the only caveat to that is his cap hit. He's at 2 years left on his deal, so his cap hit would be $19 million and $19 million, which obviously we can't afford. However, we haven't been ruled out, but the Chiefs and the Ravens have been ruled out, and we know the Chiefs and the Ravens have a lot more money than we do. So I don't understand why we're not ruled out yet. The only thing that could happen, which Bean likes to do a lot, is the backdated contract. So if you did that kind of deal, his cap hit would be like $4 million, but then you're going to be paying him probably after he's retired for a few years, and it's just going to screw you over in the future anyway. I would love that. I don't know, as far as the trade scenario that Jake sent, I don't know how true that was, but it was Isaiah Simmons, a 5th round pick, and Hopkins for Oliver and Davis. I don't know if how true that was, and I don't think that's a great deal for the Cardinals.
Oh, they'd be getting boned on that one.
But I don't know how the truth of that is, but I think he would be a great fit in Buffalo, and the teams that they mentioned are interested in him. Most of them are bad or not contenders, so I could see it happening. I highly doubt it, but if we did, the only way we could do it is if you do that backdated money or whatever the term is, where it drops the cap hit from 19 million a year to 4, but then you'd be paying him for, it's like Bobby Bonilla, you'd be paying him for a few years after he's done. And I don't know if I'd like to do that either.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I agree with you there, Sean.
When I was looking at it, guys. Oh, sorry, Brett. Go ahead.
No worries. I wanted to add in a question. Do you think that there might be an issue in the locker room with some leadership on the offensive side of the ball, especially after what we saw in the last game that the Bills played, where Stephon Diggs was throwing his hands up at Josh Allen? I think that these moves they're helping with some leadership issues that we have, and especially Damian Harris, who is a really good leader in the locker room for the Patriots. And then you bring in Shearfield, who he wasn't a big name for the Miami Dolphins, but what he brought was that grit to the team, and he filled in for especially with the wide receiver room, they had some big players that wanted the ball, and Shearfield didn't necessarily want the ball. He did everything that he was supposed to, and I think that that's what Buffalo is lacking. So I want to know, do you guys agree with that?
100%. We're missing an attitude on that offense. I mean, the only guy that seems like he's in it at all times is Steph Diggs. And I think at certain points it gets to his head, and that's where he loses control because no one else is really feeling the same way he probably feels like, because he's out there. You know what you're going to get with Steph Diggs. He's a chippy guy. He likes to go right at you. I mean, he loves it. He absolutely loves. He dares those DBs to try to take a piece of him, and usually they end up losing. And you don't see that from any other receiver on the team. You don't really see that from any other offensive player. I mean, outside of maybe Josh, who tries to take the game into his own hands often, too many times.
Yeah.
I think we're missing that at the receiver position, because the only guy that I see out there that's a real dog is Steph Diggs. And we just don't have Gabe Davis. I don't really see that out of him. You know what I mean? So we're missing that on the other side. And my gosh, you imagine have DeAndre Hopkins on the other side. As my dad says here, if we get DeAndre Hopkins, how many one-on-ones is that going to create? I mean, that opens things up for Dawson Knox. It opens things up for the slot receivers. Like, everyone on that offense is going to get better because we get DeAndre Hopkins. So we need to make it happen. I think it would be absolutely incredible. I love the hidden messages that are being thrown out there. I don't know if you guys saw today, DeAndre was drinking orange juice. Yep. OJ, little ode to OJ Simpson.
He played Buffalo Soldier.
Oh yeah, so many things, man. So many things. But
I love Steph Diggs as much as the next guy. Everybody knows that. But look at the last 2 playoff losses we had. He was never around.
Yeah, non-existent.
Like 3 catches in the Chiefs game for 7 yards and like 4 for 40 in the Bengals one. And
yeah,
I'll have to watch the tape again. But from what I remember, right before he threw his hands up to Josh, he was like half-assing the routes anyway. So how could Josh throw you the ball when you were jogging? Because it only shows you part of the view. And I don't know if he was just like getting ready to start his step or whatever, but near the end of the game, he was jogging. And from what I've seen in my view, and then Josh would just look away from him and go to somebody else, because obviously if you're half-assing it, what's the point of throwing you the ball? And he goes on the sideline and complains. So, I mean, if someone else wants to go watch the film and check it, or I'll figure it out and find it. But from what I remember from that day, that's what got me mad about it. It's like, I love his feelings. I love how much he cares about the game. But if you weren't even trying and couldn't give a shit,
you got to back it up.
Language, but if you couldn't really care, then how could you be mad and throw your hands up when you weren't ready for the ball anyway? You had 4 catches the whole game. You weren't open. You weren't doing nothing. Like, I mean,
right.
But
$20 in the jar for cuss words is all I'm saying.
Not yet. After the other jar we got, we can do that.
Here's a couple things, because we're trying to keep to a certain time here. So let me give a few comments, and then we'll get into our linebackers. So first of all, for me, the Diggs thing, I appreciate his competitiveness, but if you're a leader, take that to the sideline and talk to Josh. Don't do it on the field. I mean, Josh is going to get frustrated. It's not going to be good for anybody. So if you're a true leader, imagine, Jake, you're at your office and your boss comes out and just yells at you in front of everybody. Right. It's embarrassing. It's like, dude, why couldn't you have taken me in your office, let's talk on the side here. Don't embarrass me in front of everyone. And you should not be embarrassing Josh Allen or doing anything like that. And of course, he's probably getting a little frustrated, and maybe that's why he shies away from him a little bit. So I love Diggs' attitude, but I don't know. Some of it needs to kind of
Reel
be
it in a
taken.
little.
Yeah, reel it in just a tad. The Trent Sherfield move is okay. He has the size. He has some good speed. Not thrilled with it, but hey, it's not that bad because he does meet my requirements. For all those that have been watching our shows, if we have any receiver or tight end, they better be over 6 foot. He is. I do like the Damian Harris pick, although Jake keeps respecting my guy, Devin Singletary.
I know.
Stop disrespecting
Listen,
our guy.
no disrespect to Motor. That guy did everything in his power to be the best Buffalo Bill he could be.
With the worst
Guy
O-line
fought
ever.
for extra yards all the time. You can't hate on him. And I'll tell you what, no one had more heart than Devin Singletary, Mike. And hey, I owe you wings because of him. So
Yeah.
I have not forgotten about that.
Does
He'll do
Ben
great
works
in
with you?
Houston.
Ben does work with
Ben
me.
works with you. That's right. I think
Yeah.
I met Ben.
So yeah.
His dad's the boss, right?
That's right.
Right. So I get it. Like I've worked at smaller companies, and yeah,
He's
that
never done
boss
that, by the way.
will come out and just rip us a new one in front of people. I did work for a guy out there in Buffalo, Bert's Sporting Goods. You guys ever hear of that?
Wow. That's right
Right.
down the street from us.
Okay.
That's my
so,
dad.
Yeah.
So that's who?
That's my
your
dad. No, I'm just-
I worked for Bert Sporting Goods for a year. Yeah, that was one of those cases.
It wasn't
where,
great, huh?
You ever been a nice Bert?
No.
Bert and Ernie. I don't know.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, Bert and Ernie.
That's true.
I mean, come on.
There was a receiver named Bert Emanuel back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember him.
All right. Well, all good stuff. Thank you guys for going through that. We are 27 minutes in. All right, let's get
How
into
do we
some
do this all the time?
linebackers.
Yeah.
We're going to start with Jake, and Jake's going to talk about Dorian Williams. Start us off, Jake.
Huge fan of this young man. Probably a day 3 pick, but I see a lot of options with the Bills here. He could play extremely well in the zone scheme. I think one of the biggest things that he is known for is his coverage skills. The guy tested extremely well at the combine. He ran 4.49, so he can cover tight ends. He can cover slot guys if he needs to. Run sideline to sideline, does a really nice job of read and recognition. And the biggest thing about him that you guys are going to love, excellent tackler. Had 17 tackles in the Cotton Bowl against USC. And that game was legendary for many reasons, but he was the defensive MVP of that game. Helped Tulane win that ball game, by the way. I think he had a few tackles for loss as well. So I'm a huge fan of this young man. I took him in our last mock draft, and actually it was my mock draft. But I could see him being one of the 4th-round picks for the Bills in this year's draft, 100%. I think people are just a little down on him, obviously, just because he played in the American Conference. People didn't see as much exposure in the bigger games. But the one game that really does stick out to me, when he had to play against USC in the Cotton Bowl, guy absolutely dominated. And that's where you love to see that production, because he went up against some really good players on that team there. A lot of future pros. Had some battles against my guy Andrew Voorhees as well. Guy loves to take on blocks. I know he's 6'1", 228. That looks a little smaller in terms of frame. I actually think he has a very good NFL frame, especially with the modern day linebacker being around that size now, those off-ball linebackers. So for me, I think he's beautiful in this Bills defense. He could play the will linebacker. There's a fit for him at the will. There's a fit for him as a strong side linebacker, fit for him as an actual inside linebacker as well. So I really like what he brings. I think athleticism is off the charts for him. I think he was the 4th rated linebacker at the combine in terms of athleticism. So, all of the good things that he brings, I think he's just going to continue and carry that on when he comes into the league. And another thing, too, that the Bills are going to love, play a little bit of special teams. So tremendous leader, special teams guy, gritty, and can cover. A lot of people are worried about what's going to happen with Tremaine Edmonds being gone. Are you going to have a good coverage linebacker in there? Right now, I don't know if we have that guy on the roster. I mean, you look at Matt Milano, he can cover, but who's that replacement for Tremaine Edmonds right now? Right now, it's looking like Tyrell Dodson or potentially Terrell Bernard. And both those guys, I feel like, have been a little underwhelming. Now, you got to give Terrell Bernard the benefit of the doubt. It's his rookie year. He's supposed to be pretty good in coverage, but let's bring this young man in, give some more competition, and we'll see what happens. But, guys, I think it'd be an awesome pick in the 4th round. I know we're talking, like maybe the Bills will take a linebacker now in the 1st or 2nd round, but if we don't, and he's on the board, I think it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, one of the sites I went to, Jake, actually compared him to Milano. a little bit.
Yeah, very
It's like
simple. I mean, basically the same size. Yeah.
Sean, let me throw it to you. We'll take turns here. We'll have two guys speak on each one of these linebackers, and then we'll move on, and I'll flip it around, of course. Sean, what's your thoughts on Dorian?
Yeah, I love this guy. Absolutely. I think he's the gem of the draft. The 4th round pick doesn't seem like you're going to get a great starting caliber player, but I think he's going to come out, be ready to start, and then as the years go, turn into one of the best linebackers in the league. I just love how he plays the game. He's ferocious. He's talented. He's fast. He hits hard. And again, he's got the coverage aspect, which is what Edmonds was best at. The misconception that he was a great overall linebacker, is laughable, but you gotta cover that part up because we run a heavy pass defense where you got basically 7 people in the backfield, and we like to use our linebackers as safety nets most of the time. So you got to be able to cover. Dodson is slow, can't cover, but he can tackle. And Bernard is like a little hybrid of both, just hasn't gotten the opportunity. And again, that's normal with the Bills organization. You draft young players, 1st, 2nd, 3rd round, don't give them chances, and then you wonder why they're not where you want them to be because you need game reps and repetition. And I think you bring Dorian Williams in, it's going to be pushing that position, the linebacker room. Obviously, Milano solidified, but between Bernard and Williams and Dotson, it'll be great competition, and I think he could win it. I would love to see this guy in the Bills.
I love that, Sean. And one thing I want to bring up, too, there's a bullet point here. It says, built like a defensive back, but hits like a linebacker. So another comparison I'm going to give, I know you said Matt Milano, but another guy that actually came into the league as a safety, had a very similar frame, but then bulked up and got a lot bigger. Thomas Davis, former linebacker for the Panthers, guy absolutely dominated in the league. I see a lot of Thomas Davis and Dorian Williams.
McDermott drafted Thomas Davis, so.
Was he actually on the Panthers when he was drafted? I don't know. That was 2005. I think he was with the Eagles still.
He was with the
Eagles. He
did
coach him. He was his defensive coordinator, though. Yes.
Yeah, Brett, give us your 30-second elevator pitch on Dorian Williams.
4th round pick that Buffalo should go after. If he's still on the board at 130, you got to grab him. And I believe that he fits exactly what Buffalo needs. He's a smaller linebacker that can hit like a bull, and that's what Buffalo needs.
Awesome, love it. I have no comment on these smaller guys, and you'll know why when we get to mine. So I'm going to move on. We're going to move on to the young gun himself, talking about Drew Sanders. Talk to us, Brett. A little bit bigger. Now you're starting to interest me. Now I'm like listening. Let's go.
Drew Sanders played for Alabama when he first came into college, and he was there for 3 years. Didn't get a lot of playing time. But last year with Arkansas for 1 year, excellent time. He played over 850 snaps overall. He had about 67 tackles, and he wasn't known for his coverage ability, but the biggest thing that I look for in a linebacker for the Bills is, number 1, size. Number 2, the weight, which fits exactly what Buffalo needs at 6'4", 235 pounds. 3rd round projection that runs a 4.53. He also is a very good pass rusher, which is something that Buffalo struggled with last year, was the ability to disguise coverages. And when I looked at the linebacker position for the draft, I was looking for somebody that could come in, and if you needed him to come in and blitz the quarterback, he could do so through the middle of the line. And he was the one that I looked at, and I saw each and every time that he was asked to do that, he came in and he got to the quarterback. But when you need him to drop back in coverage, he's not the best overall. Like it says on here, where he's not a consistent tackler, but he does have the ability to take the angles at the correct times, which is something that he does a very good job of. He's explosive as well. And when I saw him at the scouting combine, he was somebody that made plays. And I believe that the projection for 3rd round is exactly where Buffalo should fit. And I think he's only going up. He's trending up and could potentially go into the 2nd round. I'm on the same trend that Jake is already with the same word, but that's my second time saying it.
Yeah, you guys are going tit for tat with that.
I
Go ahead.
know we're going to
7.
give somebody a really good prize. I mean, they might win a new Lamborghini or something like that. coming up
By the end of this, they may. They really may. I mean,
we're one away from $100.
Oh,
Wow.
I love it.
That's
it.
incredible in 2 shows.
Holy
But
smokes.
he fits Buffalo, and I think that with what Sean McDermott can do with the linebacker position, especially without Leslie Frazier, I believe that he's only going to get better when it comes to the NFL. And he's someone that I can't wait to see in a uniform, and I believe he's going to be the defensive rookie of the year this year.
Okay. I love that prediction, Brett. Mike, you mind if I just take this away? Because this got me all fired up. I absolutely love this.
You talking about
prospect.
a bigger linebacker? Sure.
I'm going to do it.
please.
I'm going to do it. Listen, everyone's worried about filling the void with Tremaine Edmonds. Yeah, you lose an inch here. He's 6'4", 235. Guys almost as athletic as they come. He's definitely one of the most athletic linebackers in this draft class. And I think in terms of this draft class as a whole, it is super athletic. And this is the year to probably take a linebacker early on if you decide to do so. So as much as we hate to admit that maybe the Bills should take one, I think maybe they just should, because I'll tell you what, the more and more I look at these guys, the more and more excited I get. I'll tell you what, that 3rd round projection, I think that is going to be squashed. I could see him going even early 2nd, to be honest with you guys. I've seen some mock drafts having him go in the 1st round, which is absolutely bananas. But I think the biggest thing you're going to get with him is downhill. And he's unbelievable as a pass rusher, too. You could set him on blitzes. He could be in blitz packages, something the Bills don't do a lot of, but he gives you the opportunity to do that. On top of that, I think with him, his physicality is a lot better than what Tremaine Edmonds brought. So, gosh, if the Bills have a shot at him, I say go ahead and take him. I would take him in the 2nd round, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I love it. Again, it meets my criteria. I've been saying this all along. I'm going to hold off on too many comments because my next guy's up and he's similar size here, and I'll say all the good things then. But my only concern here, he's not got a lot of experience, right? He's only started a single season, so that's my only concern there. But I love the speed, I love the size, I love the weight. Put on a few more pounds, my goodness, let's go. Old school middle linebacker who can rush off the edge. Give me that all day. Sean, give us your 30-second to 1 minute elevator pitch on this guy.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike, about the only one season as a starter kind of worries me. And he's smiling too much. They don't make linebackers with that
He's too much of a pretty boy, huh?
That same killer instinct like they used to. They all smile, though. They don't have the battle scars yet, the college boys. But no, everything you guys said was great. I mean, he's a little light to be going off the edge. I think he'll just get thrown around like a rag doll. But I mean, other than that, I like all the tangibles he has, and I think he will be a great player in the NFL. I don't know if he'll be the defensive rookie of the year, but I think he'll be solid. And if we get a guy like this, you have to play him, especially because he already has no experience, that much experience. You can't draft him and be like, oh, you're a special teams guy, and then maybe in 3 years before your contract ends, we'll let you play a little bit, and then we'll let you go. You have to actually let these guys form and play. That's how just anything. You have to put it towards your job. Oh, how am I going to get better at my job? Being in the field doing the work or not? And it sounds really redundant and stupid, but the best way to be better at something is to practice at the highest level. And practice is different. You're practicing, but it's not the same as going against an enemy trying to win. So let these guys play. If you draft Drew Sanders, you got to let him play, at least compete for the starting role. If he earns it, he has to play. And then if he messes up a little bit here and there, you have to let him take the battle wounds. That's how you improve and get better. So I don't hate it. I like it, but they got to stop smiling, these guys.
I love that, Sean. Well, hey, how about if we take Drew Sanders? We better take his teammate, who's much grittier and has an even more incredible name, Bumper Pool. That's his teammate. We take him in the 7th round. I think that'd be a great pairing there. A little bit stockier, 6'2", 235. So just throwing a name out there. But if we take Drew Sanders, we better damn well take Bumper Pool with him.
I like it.
All right. I like it too. Yeah, I love this guy. Let's talk about the next guy. This is my guy. This is the guy.
There you go.
If you're going to go early, and look at the face. Look at the mugshot there.
Oh yeah,
Sean. He is ready to go. Let me tell you about Jack Campbell from Iowa. Listen, He killed it at the combine. Now, I know this one says third round draft projection. No, I don't know what NFL Draft Buzz is thinking here, but at the combine, he scored number one in athleticism for linebackers. That was, I mean, insane, this guy. And if anything, I was going to say it on the last slide, so I give Drew Sanders a little credit too. He was the finalist for the Dick Butkus Award. Dick Butkus Award 2022. This is the guy. If you know anything about football, if you know anything about old school middle linebackers, you know about Dick Butkus. Physical, stop the run, just a dude who intimidated people. This is the guy that can do that. He's also the 2022 Campbell Trophy winner. He's got a damn trophy named after him. I mean, if that's not a sign, let me tell you what the Campbell Trophy is, right? It's formerly the Vincent DePaul Draddy Trophy. It's awarded to the by the National Football Foundation to the American college football player with the best combination of academics, community service, and on-field performance. This guy's killing it. He's a senior. By the way, most of these guys that we talked about are seniors, except for Drew Sanders. So this guy, I believe, could step in day one. And Jake, listen, man, I love you. And I love the fact that you slapped me across the face last show and said, hey, Mike, it's a new game. It's a new game. These smaller linebackers, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change. I'm old school. I want that Brian Urlacher type guy and the middle linebacker, Ray Lewis type physical dude who can make plays. Can he cover? He says, stretch the cover tight ends and running backs in the NFL. If you're taking the right angles, if you know your game, and this guy's is athletic as he showed everyone at the combines, I think there'd be no issues. Now, if he has to cover for a long time because the front four isn't getting there, that's a different problem. Nobody's going to be able to cover a running back or a tight end that long. But this guy could also bring the heat, bring him on a blitz. He's going to get there and wreak some havoc. That's 6'4". I mean, he's got long arms, coming up the gut on a blitz. Oh, my God, get the hands in the air. So love this guy. And, again, old school middle linebacker. Bring it back. Let's go. And I'll throw it to you, Jake, because, you slapped me in the face last show saying, Mike, it's a new age game. It's a new game. But I'm not buying it, Jake.
Hey, why don't you get you one that can do both, right, Mike? He's 6'4", 249, but he could play in the modern day NFL. I think if you squint hard enough, you can see Brian Urlacher's face. Yes. If you look at Jack Campbell, yes. You just take the hair away, and you got Brian Urlacher right there. Almost the same height and weight, I think. So many similarities here. And I know they have a con being that he can't cover tight ends and running backs. I saw the total opposite. You turn on the Ohio State tape. I watched some of that film. Cover One did a really nice breakdown of a very specific play where it was an absolute clinic on how to do read and recognition as an inside linebacker. Ended up getting an interception on the play. Showed some really good athleticism on that play as well. Gosh, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. When you look at a guy like this, can he cover? I think he checks that box. Can he rush the passer if he needs to? Absolutely checks that box. Is he physical? Physical as you'll ever be. This guy's unbelievable at all three of those things. And I'll tell you this, he doesn't bait on stuff very easily. He's very disciplined, and he's exactly what the Bills are missing at the inside linebacker position. Mike, very well done. I'm going to give this one to you.
When the experts say they use the word violent wrap-up tackler who can go side to side, that's the kind of person I want. It's not what we saw from Tremaine. We did not see that type of play.
No.
So I'm going to throw it to Sean because he loves linebacker. He played linebacker. So talk to me about Jack Campbell, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just look at that picture. That's what a linebacker. You want to look right to someone's soul. I'm scared to even look in the picture right now because of how fierce he looks. But like you guys mentioned, he's smart. He's violent. On and off the field, he's a great guy. And like you said, Mike, Ray Lewis even said that to Tyreek Hill. If I take my right angles, I can get you in an open field. But if it's, anything different, obviously it's going to be hard. But you got to use your skill set to your advantage, and Jack can do that really well. I mean, seeing a guy like this, there's been guys in these last few episodes where it's like, you're really making me maybe not take a tackle in the first round. But, I mean, for me personally, you got to see who's there, then you got to have the conversation. But I think tackle is the utmost importance. But if you got a guy like Jack Campbell there, you have to look at your board. Can we get Bergeron in the second round and then go with Jack here and then maybe get a center in the third or fourth round and not worry about guard? That's all stuff you have to worry about. But man, this would just be an awesome pickup. Can you just imagine him and Milano together, two violent, absolutely brutal linebackers just knocking heads? Oh my God, it's getting me fired up.
I know, right? Right.
I would love this guy.
It's definitely worth the conversation when we get into our mock draft. If he's available again, I know they're saying third round. Brett, do you really think he's going to make it past the second round? I don't think so with his latest combine numbers.
Has he been in any of our mock drafts? Has he even made it to 27?
No.
I don't think
he's made it to 27, but barely.
I don't think I've ever seen him. I can't remember seeing the name, but.
So maybe move up if we have to. So Brett, 30-second elevator pitch.
Biggest thing I look at with Jack Campbell is instincts, as well as the ability, like you said, to wrap up tacklers. And he fits exactly what Buffalo was lacking with Tremaine Edmonds. And I think it's a big upgrade over him. And I just see Brian Urlacher. That's the biggest name that I see.
Jake, who's your all-time favorite middle linebacker?
Patrick Willis is my all-time favorite middle linebacker, but I'll tell you what, I do love Brian Urlacher, and I can see it, Mike. Just squint, just look really hard. You can see it right in his face. That's Brian Urlacher all day, baby.
Real quick, Sean, your favorite middle linebacker of all time?
I mean, I had to say Urlacher or Lewis. I had, remember those fat heads that they had when we were kids? Well, not Mike. I know you're just a tad bit older than us.
Yeah.
Wow. We were kids. And you look great, Mike. You don't look your age at all. You look incredible. But
thank you, man.
I always liked the Bills, but I liked players a lot when I was younger. So I loved Brian Urlacher. There was I don't remember his name now, but there was a guard on the Packers that I loved. I got his jersey custom made just because I liked the guy and playing in Madden and stuff. But Urlacher was probably my favorite linebacker, and then Ray Lewis is a close second.
Love it. Brett, your favorite?
London Fletcher, by far my favorite player.
Hey, put that guy in the Hall of Fame, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, between what he did for Buffalo and then going over to Washington and the career that he had in Washington, every year when there's a game that we were going up against him, I feared him on the field, and you knew he was going to hit hard. And he did it until the end, and he was by far the best player that I've seen play in the modern day NFL, besides probably a Brian Urlacher. So for modern linebackers, Ray Lewis was up there, but I think that London Fletcher hit harder than Ray Lewis, to be honest with you.
There's no on that one.
Wow.
I'm gonna say it.
Come on.
I love London Fletcher, man, but
no, Ray
I
Lewis.
do think he hit harder though. Trust me.
I don't know.
Oh man,
Big L trying to bait us. He's definitely got promise. Promise, Big L. I know you meant to say promise, but
Sean, who was that guard? Who'd you have a jersey of? Was it Mike Wall or Josh Sitton, or who do we have there?
I swear, I looked through every roster, and what the name I thought it might be, I don't know. I can't actually say the name, but what I'm kind of thinking in my head, I didn't see that name at all. But
what year?
The number was 65, and it was like 2003 to 2006. I feel like he had long, a little bit longer black hair. Number 65. He was a guard.
So Josh Sitton fits the bill for that a little bit, but I don't think
can't remember
65.
the name. I felt like
71.
I felt like it was a unique name, but then like I looked at the roster with 65, and
Mike
maybe it wasn't
Wall.
65. Maybe he was 60 something. He was 60 something, but I just couldn't.
Was a tackle.
For the life of me, I couldn't remember. But it was around the Favre was there still, obviously, and it was probably between 2003 and 2006, maybe 7.
I'm gonna think of this. I'm gonna try to think of this in the background while you guys are doing your.
Try to get pictures too, because maybe if I see a picture of his face, I'll be like, "Oh,
I love this. I live for this."
Yep.
All right. Well, let's move on to Sean. He's going deep into the well to find this gentleman, and then afterwards we got an honorary mention that Brett's gonna talk about. We don't have a slide for this guy, which after Brett told me about him, I'm like, how did we not pick this guy for one of the 4? But Sean, go into the well.
Hey, when I was looking at him, I wasn't really looking at, where his draft potential was, the first thing I looked at, well, before I get into that, let me go back to how much linebacker means to me and go back to my glory days in high school football, just really quick, just to get the backstory about why I love linebackers so much. So when I was a sophomore, I was playing varsity, and the head coach only wanted me to play one position. And I played running back. I was a center from 7th and 8th grade, and I played running back in 9th grade. Then he put me in an Oklahoma drill with one guy. He was 6'5", 300 pounds. Another guy that was 6'3", like 320. And then my offensive lineman blocking for me was like not the best, we'll say. So I was intimidated. I got two of the biggest guys on the team in my first carry in the varsity practice. I got, I was scared. I kind of punked out. And then the coach said, "You're never going to play running back ever again." So I said, okay. So then I used to love playing defensive end. So when the first team offense was going, I went up against the best right tackle, the best left tackle on defense when we were playing the scout defense, and I was just blowing up everything. And the linebacker coach grabbed me by the scruff. He got a really high voice. He goes, "You gonna play linebacker for me?" I go, "Okay, I don't play linebacker, but I will." And then
it's a Vontae Davis voice.
Oh, he was in a biker gang. He had slicked back hair, curly in the back. His muscles were like this big, and he's like, "Kula, you gonna play linebacker?" I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And then I worked my ass off in practice, and then he'd put me in all the drills against the best linebacker on the team, and then I ended up starting. So my sophomore year was saved by busting my ass on defensive end, which showed that I could, have the guts to play linebacker according to this coach. And then he worked with me, and then, it was a position I never played before. I ended up starting, and then, the rest is history. So that's my backstory about linebacker, and it's really funny. And, I still love that coach to this day. And, it was one person gave up on me for one little thing, and then I was able to make something out of it for the rest of my high school career. So really awesome. But the reason why I picked this guy and I didn't pick the guy that Brett's going to talk about was because the one thing I looked at first was missed tackles. And a lot of these college guys had like 18 missed tackles, 20 missed tackles. He had 4 all last year. So that was my reasoning that I went with him mainly instead of the guy that Brett's going to mention, because the guy that Brett's going to mention had, I think it was between 16 and 20 missed tackles. And I was like, we were the worst, or sorry, not the worst, but bottom 3 in team tackling last year. Yeah, he's not the greatest pick. He's not the best height. I know Mike doesn't like his height, but 6'2", 226, that's a good build. 6th round pick, great value there. And senior, so he's got experience. But like I said, the being able to tackle should be a main priority especially for a linebacker. And yeah, he's got some things to work on, but he's really fast. Game speed, I know the 40 times says 4.6, but he plays fast. He is strong. Yeah, he's not tall, but he can also cover. And that was another thing I looked at too. I think he had about 250 coverage snaps, and he was pretty good at it. And if you want to ignore linebacker in the first few rounds, I thought it was my time out of all. I've been picking first-round picks and second-round picks. I thought it was good to go into the well, like Mike said, and pick a guy. Mike, did you figure out how to pronounce his name? Because I don't want to screw it up.
I was going to ask you. I'm like, can you say his name for the audience?
Dennis.
Servosia Dennis. Okay.
If you guys want to talk about having a duplicate of Matt Milano, this is it.
Yeah, and another guy. Look at that face. Killer instinct right there.
That's right.
Brett's guy and Jake's guy were smiling ear to ear, like, I'm going to the NFL. I can't wait. These guys are just like, I'm ready to kill every running back I see. I love that attitude, because you need that. You need to be vicious and ferocious to play linebacker, because it's an unforgiving position. When you just look at if you played it in high school or college, you're not bigger than offensive linemen, and sometimes you're the same size as running backs, and you got big offensive linemen. I always preach to you guys, Edmonds used to wait for contact. No, you have to be the one to initiate the contact, whether the guy's 50 pounds bigger than you or not. So that's what I like about linebackers and the linebacker tendency, and what I didn't like about Edmonds. I didn't like that he wasn't ferocious. I didn't like that he was scared to hit holes. Once in a while, he hit somebody hard, but he hit his teammates harder than he hit players in his time here. So once in a while, he had it in him, but you need a guy that's it's like a light switch. Once he gets on the field, all he sees is hitting hard and tackling and doing the right thing. So he embodies that. And again, late round pick. We only have 6 picks this year. End of draft on a high note with Servosia, and I wouldn't be angry.
I love it, Sean. I love that you find in the gem later in the draft. In the event we ignore linebacker early on, Brett, let me throw it to you. Let me throw it to you for your thoughts
dad
on
is really trying
Servosia.
here.
He's trying.
People
He's
will
got
say
a
it.
lot of
Don't worry,
promise.
Big Al.
He's got a lot of promise, Big L.
The one thing that I really liked about what Sean brought up is the violent wrap-up tackler, which is something that we need, as well as the ability to play zone coverage, which is something that I thought that Tremaine Edmonds didn't necessarily fit that scheme that we were trying to run. So I think the pick is perfect. I think that the speed is kind of worrisome for me a little bit because 4.65. I'm looking for a linebacker that can run around 4.5, somewhere in that range. So the speed concerns me a little bit, but for him to come in and play with guys like Terrell Bernard and Tyrell Dodson and compete with them, I'm totally okay with that. And if he can compete and win the job, I'll be happy with Servosia Dennis being our middle linebacker for the future.
Jake, I'll throw it to you, but one comment Sean had is that he was seeing a lot of these guys miss tackles. We should have brought up the number of tackles for each of the linebackers we're talking about because you will have more missed tackles if you're a ball hawk. If you're around the ball all the time, and that could be a reason why maybe he's not around the ball as much, right? So we should have brought up number of tackles, but that's my only thought. I love it. I love that Sean finally gave up. I finally took one of the better linebackers. He stopped taking the first or second round guys. Same with Brett. Brett was the guy taking all the top guys off the board early. But Jake, your thoughts before we get into the mock draft on Servosia?
I'll echo a little bit of what Brett says. When you see the size here, 6 foot 226, you're not expecting the guy to run 4.65. You want him more at that 4.5 range instead. But he definitely plays a lot faster than what his 40 time is. That is a real thing, by the way. So while you look at his 40-yard dash time, it's not super impressive. Ideally, you'd like to be at 4.5 around there, right? Especially with the size. Plays a lot faster. Has no hesitation whatsoever. He just goes. He finds the ball carrier and he goes. That's something we've been lacking at the linebacker position. Yeah. Honestly, really does remind me a lot of Matt Milano. Very similar in terms of playing in the ACC conference. Going to be a late round pick. Very similar in size. And just an awesome tackler. I think this is the guy you're going to want to take in the late rounds if we haven't taken a linebacker, or if we have another guy that could fill in and be a depth guy, and a guy that I think is going to compete as well. I know he's going to be a late day 3 pick, but gosh, what he brings to the table is so much more. And boy, we're talking about the fact that we didn't have an inside linebacker next to Matt Milano that could play like Matt Milano. Well, this is the guy. So absolutely love it, Sean. Great pick here.
And another thing you can add in is the amount of depth that we lost at the linebacker position behind Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano. If you can add in a guy that can come in and it's a plug and play type of situation where if whoever is going to be the starter next to Matt Milano, if he goes out, then you can plug this player in and the defense runs the same, then I'm okay with it. But when you saw Tremaine Edmonds or Matt Milano leave the game, the defense was completely different when
noticeable.
the linebacker came in. So
yeah,
I completely agree with what you guys are saying, though.
I love it. So good stuff. I mean, I know you have an honorary mention. The reason why we did linebackers, we shifted. We were going to talk about defensive line and edge guys, defensive ends this week. But because there's been a lot of talk, because we lost Edmonds, about potentially taking a linebacker early, we thought we'd switch it up and go to, I know you got me.
Get that?
I like donating. Hey, I'm good with it. Let's go.
Let's
go.
Wow, I already missed that.
I'm doing it on purpose now. So, no,
I've been
I'm
bad.
just joking. But anyhow, I love it. So, Brett, why don't you talk to us about your honorary mention, who I feel like should have been on one of these slides?
Yeah, my honorary mention is Trenton Simpson, who has been projected to go to the Bills at the 27th position. I know Charles Davis has projected him to go to Buffalo there. There's a couple of other mock drafts that are projecting him at the 27th position. So he's someone who has the burst. He also has something that I know Mike loves, which is he's on Bruce Feldman's freak list. And I'm going to read what he said about him. He's a 6'3", 240-pounder who only has 6% body fat. Ranked third on his team with 78 tackles and finished second in both tackles for loss with 12 and sacks last season. He benched 375 pounds, power cleans 355 pounds, and has a vertical jump of 40.5 inches.
Lordy.
And he has a 10.2 broad jump. More impressively, Tigers coaches say he has run the 40 time in a 4.3 seconds.
Whoa.
That's
Sign me up.
That's very good speed, which is
Sign
something
me up.
that's exactly what Buffalo needs is speed. And when we saw the Kansas City Chiefs game a few years ago, the biggest thing that we saw was the speed was lacking on defense. So if we can get faster and we can have more instincts, I'm okay with that. So at the 27th position, if he's on the board and the top offensive linemen are off the board, I'm okay with going after Trenton Simpson.
What's the projection for him to go?
He's first
Late
round talent.
First round
First
to
round?
early second round. So
Yeah.
Man, I love it. I got to see a picture of this guy.
He officially ran 4.43, but that's electronic. So you get that hand time. I mean, you're taking
man.
0.2 of a second off. So that's 4.23. Think about that, guys. Unbelievable.
Ooh.
I mean, absolutely insane.
Who do
Now,
you
if
play
you-
for? What
he
school?
played for Clemson.
Oh,
but
yeah, that's right.
If you look at his picture, it looks exactly like Ezekiel Elliott on draft day.
He's chiseled.
I mean,
Chiseled as hell.
chiseled. Yeah, he's chiseled. He has the hair like Ezekiel Elliott, but hey, we didn't get Ezekiel Elliott. Now we can get the younger version of Ezekiel Elliott on defense that can be that bruising linebacker for the Buffalo Bills.
By the way, he did name his final team options. It looks like the Eagles, the Bengals, and then who was the other? There was another team involved too.
Jets.
The Jets. Yeah,
Really?
of course.
I guess I gotta hope it
So,
goes to the. I guess I gotta hope it goes to the Eagles. Then sorry, Cowboys fans that I'm friends with.
be like the
can't
Marco
do-
Murray 2.0.
I can't deal with him going to the Bengals or the Jets. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be good, man.
The Bengals actually makes a lot of sense, especially with Joe Mixon's situation. Who knows what's going on with that? But
He's playing for what's it called? Stop the Yard or whatever that movie was where they played in prison.
Oh yeah, longest yard.
Longest yard, yeah.
Guys, I have one more honorable mention. I won't say much about him, but I just had to at least mention his name. He's probably going to be an early second-round pick. Diane Henley, a guy that I thought about taking, and actually I think Sean ended up taking in our last series of mock drafts. So love that kid. He's out of Washington State. He's very raw, but I think a lot of scouts have seen what he brings on tape. He's super athletic, sideline-to-sideline type player, super aggressive. Basically getting exactly what you see in a lot of the linebackers that we mentioned on this board. Again, this year's class is so insanely athletic, but, I think it's, the more and more I look at it, it definitely is worth maybe taking one earlier on just because, we have an actual need there now. So I'm a little more convinced now. But do not ignore the offensive line and do not ignore taking more weapons for Josh Allen. That's all I got to say.
Right.
Totally agree. All right, well, let's get into it. The way the draft's going to work, we're going to do 2 7-round mock drafts, and we're going to do teams. We're going to team up, and these two are going to go first. Sean and Brett, you guys are going to go first. You're on the board. Put your GM hats on. And Brett, I know you've been running models. You do it all the time. You beat us all the time with the score. But so good luck, guys. I think Jake and I are going to give you a good challenge this time around.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Big L. I love that. Trenton Simpson has a 4.43 40. Yep.
Yep.
All right, you guys ready? Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, let's
Sean,
go.
you can't fire me during this, man.
Well, I'm not picking a running back, and I'm not picking.
I think the
Tank
way we
down
should
in the
do it.
second round.
You guys tell me if you're up for it. I think just decide who goes with the first pick. You guys can actually talk.
I'm
about
gonna
it
let
as
Sean
well.
take
Oh,
first.
so
then-
we can just talk about it together
All
as
right.
a team, every pick. Don't worry.
All
about
right,
it.
let's
we'll
go.
get it.
Let's go, baby.
Here we go. Starting the draft. Good luck.
Panthers taking Bryce Young.
Stroud
I don't
went to
know.
the
I
Raiders?
think C.J. Stroud is a lock, by the way, guys. I think.
Yeah,
for
I
the
do
first-
too.
Especially with Josh McCown coming up to him saying they want to hoop together.
Mm.
Dalton Kincaid going at 25. Wow.
Look at your guy Zay going right at 26. Always seems to be the
Unbelievable.
case. Let's take a look, though. Let's see. Anybody we talked about today
It's hard to see.
from a linebacker perspective?
Ooh, the Lions got Bijan. That's pretty good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice pick. Nice replacement for Jamal Williams.
Why would the Jets
DeAndre
draft a
Swift is going to be the
quarterback?
backup then, if that's the case.
Wow. So basically, all the linebackers we talked about are available. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
All
All
right.
right,
I don't
so
want
I
do you
guess
wanna-
tackle, linebacker, and receiver, Brett. Is that what you want to?
I'm okay with that. Do you want tackle or any interior?
No, not interior for the first. Unless you want to. Unless you want to look at it, just to look at it.
I was just curious.
Yeah, we could look at it. You could put interior too.
Okay.
Yep. See,
Wow.
it's tough. It's tough because you got Harrison, you got Jones, you got Torrance, you got Avila, and you got Campbell. Not Tank Dell. And you got, I think Myers there too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Dalton
You guys-
Kincaid went at 25, guys. That's freaking wild, especially considering Darren Waller is now with the Giants, as is another former Bill, Tommy Sweeney.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brett. You want to narrow it down to three? Who's your three that you would go? Who is three people you would go with here?
I'd say DeJuan Jones, Osiris, and Jack Campbell.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's where it's tough because you got to think: is there value at linebacker in the next round? Is there the tackle? Is Bergeron going to be there in the second round? Are we sold on Ryan Bates?
Right.
That's where.
Would you
that's
guys
where all the
take
conver-
Darnell Wright here as well? Would that
Darnell
be a
Wright
name
should
or
be
no?
there still, but I think he's projected like 70, like ADP 70. So I think
Yeah.
he's supposed to be the second round, but
Right.
he's been going. The last one I did, he went before we picked again. So
Watched a lot of tape on
rank 70,
KMS
yeah.
this week too. Holy
Yeah.
smokes!
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think
I still say
I
Juan.
think you got to go with Jones here.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Final
I know
answer,
it's
guys?
It's tough. It's tough. I'm gonna have to go with him though.
All right.
This is honestly a spot where you could trade back.
Yeah, they'll figure all that stuff out, but
They'll figure that stuff out, but in this
Or-
position, the board is right there where you could trade back.
or you could stick with the first round pick Jones, trade up in the second round,
Right.
get Campbell in the early second round, and then either way you want to do it. It's all depending. But as good as Campbell is and as much of a freak he is, I still think you gotta get Spencer Brown out of there because Jack Campbell's not going to win us a Super Bowl, but an offensive line might, because as we always say, the Chiefs and the Bengals are going to score points regardless. The Jaguars are up and coming team. They're getting Calvin Ridley next year on top of what they had last year, and then the Chargers on paper are great again. You got to beat these teams with offense, so I think you got to protect Josh, get Spencer Brown off the field. So that's my reasoning.
Yeah, I agree.
DeJuan Jones?
DeJuan
Yeah.
Jones.
All right. Welcome to the Buffalo Bills, DeJuan Jones. If this happens when we're live on TV draft night, I think we'll all be excited.
And that just go. Oh, Jack Campbell went to the Saints at 40. So you either got to pick him. Either got to pick him early or trade up.
Yeah. So by this point, it looks like you figure most of those linebackers, those top three guys, are probably gone, and then you're left with my guy, Dorian Williams. Yeah, there you go.
Brett, who do you want to? You could pick the positions now to look at, and then we can talk about them.
Wide receiver too. I say wide receiver. Gosh, this is getting tough. Wide receiver, safety, and is there any other ones that you're looking at? Sean?
Interior O line, and then D line. Not
Another
edge,
name we didn't mention,
not
too,
edge
guys.
D-line, yeah.
Noah Sewell. That's another name to look out for. Penny's brother, his younger brother.
Yeah.
Guy's 6'2", 6'3", 246. Fits Mike's criteria for height and weight. So another very athletic kid. Probably a second rounder.
The
By the
Moro
way-
or Ojorno is supposed to be pretty good as well.
Yep.
We got to think about if we do trade Oliver, we got to think about someone who could come in and be a game wrecker too, because Von Miller's not going to be back right away. So it's interesting.
Tell me how far back or how far down you want to go.
I'm good. You can go back up unless Brett wants to.
Yeah. In this position, I don't know about you, Sean, but I'm looking at ways to save money on the salary cap too. So Luke Whippler is a player that I think could come in and be the starter for Mitch Morris. And I know we've talked about the offensive line a lot, but saving $8.7 million if he's cut post June, that money can be used for another player. So
I like Whippler. There's no other interior left, or is they just farther down because of the other positions?
Further down. If you want me to remove some, I can do that.
No, you could. Yeah, just remove everyone else first, I guess, just to make it easier for you.
Wow.
Voorhees
Wow,
Yeah.
where did I can't remember their names right now. They're always there in the second
John
round.
Michael Schmitz, Joe Tittman.
Yeah,
they're
Tittman's
both
always
gone.
there in the second round. So is
Steve Avila.
JMS. They're
Yeah.
gone.
Yep.
Wow. That changes things though. But yeah, I guess in that case you got to take Whippler because he'll be gone, and then you have to take Voorhees in the 6th round and then have him play next year.
Yeah.
What someone's going to do, obviously, they're going to pick him or undrafted free agent or something. But yeah, I would go Whippler here.
You good with Whippler, Brett? Whippler?
100% on board.
All right. Welcome to the Buffalo Bills.
The
Luke
Buffalo
Whippler.
Buckeyes.
That's
Two Ohio State
insane.
picks.
That's insane that every other time Tittman and JMS were there, and now they're not.
Yeah, it is
That's
pretty
just-
crazy.
That just
That's
tells
crazy.
me they're rising up the boards. Maybe they had a great combine, and the site's catching up. There's, because this site pulls from different mock places.
Okay,
Williams available.
I would say linebacker, wide receiver, tight end, defensive line.
Parker Washington available still. Wow.
That's beautiful. Him and Jaden Reed both. Love it.
Could you add safety in here too? Jimmy Robinson still
Some
available.
really good safeties on the board. Too.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we got to remember that whoever we draft won't be starting if you draft
Right.
him at safety. So
I agree
I
with
don't
you
want to
there.
draft the I don't want to draft the safety in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd because they're not going to start over Hyde or Poyer.
Right.
And then you remember Hamlin's probably coming back, and I think obviously if he plays like he did last year, he'd be the backup. So I wouldn't want to waste an early pick on a safety.
I
because they're
agree.
going to be starting, and then Poyer's got a 2-year contract, and I don't know about Hyde, but I wouldn't pick a safety here personally. But
competition at the big nickel too. Got to remember. That's
True.
another area where we could use some competition. So
Look at that. Dorian Williams went to the Cowboys there, 3rd round. Wow.
he was going.
That's the earliest I've seen him taken, actually.
Yeah.
in mock.
Yeah.
This
We
is
got him.
interesting.
We got him late last time we did our drafts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was 4th
towards
round.
Yeah, I
Is he
figured
still-
one of those 4th rounders.
Part of my process was like hoping that these people would be where they typically were,
Yeah.
and then I was totally out
And
the
it's
window
just
now,
totally
so,
throwing you
yeah,
for a loop.
this went the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm between Morrow and Parker Washington, to be honest with you.
I think playmakers for Josh. I mean,
Let me see what
Parker Washington.
Parker brings to the board here. See what he looks like size wise.
You're not gonna like his size.
204.
You know what I think though with Parker Washington is Golden Tate. So the only thing you got to really consider with him, he can play outside, but the looks are on initial look.
Yeah.
He looks like a slot guy.
Yeah, it's just tough because, like I said, I don't know the fate of people like Oliver yet. So I want to think about picking a tackle here, but I don't know if he's going to be on the team next year. If he's on the team next year, then obviously you can dedicate your attention to a different position. But
Well, the other thing is you have to look at 2024 too. So if he is on the team and he can sit behind Ed Oliver, learn for a year, and then become a disruptive player for the Bills in 2024, then I'm okay with that. So
yeah,
Yeah.
because he's gone after this round, probably shortly after the pick, maybe.
yeah,
I don't know. It's up to you. Do you want to just load up on skill positions or?
no, I say defensive. I'm okay with that.
All right,
Let's do it.
Buffalo Bills.
Let's just see. Amoro? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah. 90.6. Wow.
Wow, nice. Okay. Welcome to the Buffalo Bills.
Kind of reminds me of Ed Oliver, to be honest with you guys.
I was gonna say he's a little bit undersized for a D tackle, but he plays big. He's a freak.
He takes on double teams a lot better from what I've seen. I know it's just the college level, but man, I think that's I know Ed does that time and time here, but I think Morrill can be a little more effective. He's got an extra 10 pounds on him.
By the way, while we're waiting, I want to say make sure you reach out to all our channels, Nickel City Mafia, Red, White, and Bills, Go Bills Podcast. Give us a like, comment, and smash that subscribe button for us. We greatly appreciate it, and we love the interaction. Thank you guys for being out here today. All right, guys. What are you going to look for this time
Tight end,
around?
linebacker for sure, and then wide receiver and whoever else Brett thinks we should look at.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sean, right there.
Wide receiver too?
Cam Jones is somebody that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, I was debating picking him when I was narrowing it down, but never graded too high.
4 missed tackles. Look at that.
No. You only had 37 tackles.
Yeah.
Look at the missed tackle rate though, 7.1%.
And he only played 5 games in 2022.
I don't think he played many games.
Could be a sleeper though, Sean.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He didn't test super well. I think that's why his stock fell a little bit.
Guys, look who's out there.
Wow, that's Mike's boy right there.
Oh man.
I know PFF would grade us bad, but you gotta think about it, Brett. I'd say either Andre or the guy above Cam, I can't remember the name. Cooper.
Yeah, but he's a smaller wide receiver though. But
yeah.
Andre, I'm okay
on my
with
boy, guys. You're sleeping on my boy, Bryce
Bobo?
Wheaton. Well, Jake Bobo too. That's a great late round pick. I think he's 6th or 7th round, but
your guy Wheaton? Let's see. Let's take a
him.
look at Wheaton here.
Mike, you're gonna love this.
Oh yeah, this is the guy you brought up last time.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Combine Warrior ran 4.39, 4.38, I want to say.
Yeah.
40-inch vertical.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Production wasn't where it should be though for like a typical number 1 receiver. Yeah, I mean, you look at what he did this year in terms of yards, 675 yards. Not exactly, but every year he's gotten better. And I think athleticism speaks more for it than anything.
Who are you thinking here, Brett?
I kind of want to go with either Bryce Ford or Andre. Either one is fine with me. So I'm going to let you take the pick on this one.
No, he spelled his name differently. We had a nice wide receiver with the first name of Andre. So just keep that in mind. And how well he did for us.
I know this is a competition right now. I want to be selfish and get the better grade, but got to fit the need. I know Mike would pick on here, so I think it's a good choice.
Which one?
Not many come as more athletic than he.
Andre?
Andre? All right. Yes, I'm buying his jersey. Bills draft him.
I love it.
I'm buying that jersey. I'm buying the whole group jerseys. I'm saying that right now. If Andre's drafted, you're all getting a jersey. Let's go.
Let's go.
We could probably buy the winner of the giveaway a nice jersey too with all this money we got.
Oh yeah, we definitely could.
Here we go. 5th round.
He's still there.
Wow.
Who's that?
Proper.
Wide receiver out of Fresno.
Sean Johnson's still available.
Not bad at all.
13 yards of reception. I know he's short, Mike. I know he's short, but
Hey, you guys are the GMs. Don't let me sway you. Jake and I are going to be battling over the size thing in our draft. I'll tell you that right
I know
now.
we are.
I mean, Roshan would be a good pick here, but we're fine with running back. So,
Man, I'll tell you what. I love that guy. He's going to be good for somebody. I'm actually surprised he's here because remember last week in our draft, he was going like third round.
Third round. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you pull up linebackers though, Mike, please?
Whatever you'd like. Sure thing.
So Cam Jones.
Cam Jones still available. Yeah.
Owen Papo. That's another name to look out for. He's climbing a little bit.
Let's take a look at him.
So Cam Jones, the only thing with him is that he's coming off an injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he fits the size that a lot of the linebackers that I have pitched are in. 6'1", 226. He is a redshirt senior. He's got a little experience. I think he was a 3-year starter, I want to say.
And then can you pull up Owens, please?
Owen here?
Yeah.
How do you say his last name?
Owen Papo.
Papo. All right.
I'm just curious about size, just the difference in size.
Same.
About the same.
All those linebackers, I'll tell you what, it's like your standard linebacker. I will say, Mike, those 6'4", 240 guys, much harder to find this day and age. And when they're running 4.5, even more impressive.
And that's why they're going early too, Jake.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
What's your thoughts here, Sean?
yeah, it's tough. Gotta get linebacker, maybe, I think.
I mean,
Or bring up tight end, too.
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's true. Davis Allen's still
Zach
available.
Kuntz, is there?
Yeah, I was looking for Kuntz, maybe.
He's definitely available
He's
still,
He's
right?
got to be around. If he's
Yeah.
not,
There's Servosia.
oh, there
Yep.
he is.
He'll be there next round. This is the 5th round, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is the 5th round.
Man. I'm between Jones and Allen. I thought Kuntz would be there still, but
You could double dip and go Jones here and then save that last pick for Servosia.
yeah. Get tight end and then
Or you could even go Davis Allen too.
yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Kuntz must have moved up the board.
Yeah, he
man.
definitely had
He's
taken.
not here.
Hey, so you guys get now you guys know how the board's gonna go, so you get the upper hand.
I know this is an
Advantage.
advantage for us, I would say,
Yeah.
right?
But
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I know we lost Tommy Sweeney, so we either got to pick up another tight end or draft one. So I don't know. I haven't seen much tight end movement in the free agency. So
Athletic kid.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I like it.
I mean, I would go Davis Allen if you're down, Brett.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. We can save the last pick for Servosia.
It's a pretty good pick, guys.
All right. Welcome to the Buffalo Bills,
That's
Davis
crazy
Allen.
how much the board changed over. It was like 5 days, 4 days
Yeah.
since we last did a show. All right, nobody pick him.
If you bet the over on our show, congratulations. You won a lot of money today.
How do we always do it?
How about this? I'm sure we'll have enough money to get a jersey once all the money's done in the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks after today. We'll do a poll of like top 3 players' jerseys that you would like, and then obviously if it's in the range, then a lucky winner could get a Bills jersey.
I love
That's
it.
a cool idea.
I have an idea. So for whoever gets the time for the show that we're gonna do that day, is the closest one to get the time right wins the jersey.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, Brett.
We can cheat on that though, right? So I think Jake would say, Big Al would say, hey, buddy, extend it a little
Oh,
bit
yeah.
more.
Yeah,
And Jake
you know.
will just go on and talk for another 10, 15
That's
minutes.
exactly what would happen.
All right, Mike. You know who we want?
Servosia.
Stetson Bennett. No, I'm just.
Hey, Brett took Stetson Bennett. He got an
I
A on that.
know. I know.
I know. I had some comments come in about that. So
Shamari Connor. That's a nice. Did you guys take
You
a
want-
safety? Yeah, I'm
You
taking.
want linebacker?
Servosia.
Linebacker,
Yeah.
yeah. we didn't take a
Right.
safety.
If he's around.
Quindell Johnson going right
There he
before.
is. Let's go.
There he is.
Quindell Johnson's a stud. Yeah,
Is that-
that's
is that-
crazy.
Is that your guy?
What do you think, Brett?
I'm okay with it.
I want you to be sure.
Yes, you can't just be okay. This is
What do you
for-
want to go here? What do you
Can
want
you
to
bring up Ventrell Miller too?
Yep.
I'm just looking at the differences mostly. That's all. Nah, I'm done with him.
Okay.
I saw the missed tackle rate. You see
Okay.
that 16.3?
Yep.
I'm like,
Well,
nope. Let's go.
Let's see what your guy has here.
4.9.
That's pretty damn
And look, he
good.
went up from 65 to 90 in 1 year.
Wow. Yeah, let's do it.
That's impressive.
Sleeper pick.
That is a sleeper. I 100% agree. I think that is a really
right.
nice pick there.
Welcome to
Rekindle
the-
with DeMar Hamlin, Pit Boys.
Yeah.
You know, they hit hard over there. So.
And Dane. Don't forget about
and
Dane.
Dane.
All right, let's see how you guys did. According to PFF, I personally believe you guys killed it here. And I would be extremely happy with this, not only for DeJuan Jones. I love my boy Andre.
They hate Andre
Osavas.
for some reason.
I know.
Yeah,
they
you're
do.
going to get an
Maybe-
F for that, which is insane. But
Maybe they'll change their tune. I don't know. It's been a few
They're
days.
going to change their
True.
tune.
yeah, I'm
I mean,
curious to
everything
see how
else
they grade
changed,
it.
So
And I took him earlier, remember? I took him in the third.
I'm going to bet it's a C.
True.
Grade.
wow.
Oh,
Nope,
D
he-
plus. Hey, not
oh,
bad.
God. See, why is DeJuan Jones a C? That just is so wrong. This guy is a game changer.
Wow.
I think a lot of people look at his height and weight,
Oh
and
my
they're
gosh.
like, he's
Wow,
very raw in terms of technique, but he's got the size, so he's going to be worth the first round pick just based on that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, Mike, I think we hit a lot of pain points that we have. We got tackle,
Yeah.
guard was completely gone in the second round,
Yeah.
which was weird because there was like 5 pretty good guards in the second round typically.
Guard was gone in the second round, and there's nobody else available after that, pretty much.
Yeah. And not even any centers either. It was just Whippler was
Right.
like,
Yeah, you didn't really have a choice. You had to take Luke
Yeah.
Whippler there, so I don't blame you guys.
Right.
I think that's to get it, man.
That's what I say. It's going to be fun to watch these guys that we were so high on, like Andre Osavas, like Servosia, and see how they actually turn out. And I'll be like, screw you, PFF. Look what they're doing right now, especially if they're not on the Buffalo Bills and they're killing it for another team. It's going to be even that much more painful. Great job, guys.
Hell of a job, boys.
Love it.
Good job, Sean.
yeah, it was definitely better than what the grade was for sure.
I
totally
agree.
agree.
I give you a B
Hopefully-
plus.
Hopefully we get a tackle, and that this might change things. Maybe you have to go guard the first round, get Torrance first round, and then maybe there's another tackle left in the second, and then it's just going to be it's tough now. It's interesting.
Are you ready, Jake?
Let's do it, Mike. Here we go, baby.
All right, let's go. We're going to have a conversation about linebacker right off the bat.
I think
Won't
so.
be hard to beat C plus though.
It might be, we haven't tried this angle. It might be nice just a little, change it up a little bit. All right.
Mm.
Zay Flowers is there now.
Oh,
too.
man. Boy, we got a big
Now we're gonna have an
conversation.
argument.
Yeah, you-
Oh, boy. I'm going to bring up a couple things.
Who
Offensive
Anton
tackle
Harrison went right before.
and linebacker.
Wow.
That's an incredible board.
Jack is there.
Sheesh.
Drew Sanders is there. Trenton Simpson is there.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna put this out there. If we're taking a linebacker, we got to take Jack Campbell. If we're taking a linebacker, so I think we can both agree on that, right, Mike? We're gonna
I
take
agree.
Jack Campbell if it's a linebacker.
Yes, sir.
I bet this is
Okay.
killing Jake right now that Zay Flowers is there still.
But yeah, I mean, you look at
Every
Zay
time-
Flowers, DeJuan Jones is there.
Does that mean Harrison already went.
But guys,
And Torrance went too.
now remember, we're trading for DeAndre Hopkins.
That's right. That's right. And
This
we've
is a
already picked up a
linebacker show.
couple. We've already picked up a couple receivers already in free agency.
That's right.
And it is a linebacker show, Jake. I like
Linebacker
that.
show. Let's take Jack Campbell. This pains me to do. No,
Let's do
no
it.
disrespect,
Let's do it.
Zay, if you're watching. I love you, and we need you here as a Buffalo Bill. But let's take Jack Campbell just
Welcome
because.
to the Buffalo Bills. This
That's
would.
right.
Oh man, I'm going to be jumping up and down if they take this guy.
I would be pretty happy with this pick as well. I
Let's
really
go.
would be.
Oh, Darnell Wright went at 29.
This is where it's going
Wow.
to get a little interesting, Jake. Because
Yeah.
let's see. Oh man.
I don't see many. I didn't see really any
Oh,
guards
Joe
go
Timmon
off.
went
there.
at 50. Luke
All right.
Whippler already went.
They're gone.
We're going to have some options here.
What do we
You
got
wanna
for
look-
tackle?
Let's look for tackle. None of our
Yeah,
tackles
we're
ever
trying.
seem to be there. There he
Matthew
is.
Bergeron.
That's a no-brainer.
Cody Mock is there too, Mike.
Oh, I love Cody.
I
But
like Matthew Bergeron, to be honest with you. Curious to see, though.
I have no argument for me on that one. I know you and Sean talked highly of him.
Very high on him.
think-
Haven't been able to get him in the other mocks. He's been taking a pick before, typically. So
And I think tackle is more important than guard in this
I agree.
I
certain
agree.
draft.
100%.
Curious, though, what guards are available? I just want to
Probably
see,
not.
just for the hell of
Let's
it.
take a look.
Okay.
Voorhees.
Okay, so they were all
Yeah,
taken.
towards
then. You just
ACL.
didn't see it.
I love all these guys too. We talked about Andre Voorhees,
Yeah.
Alusagun, Aluwatami is one of the guys
That was
I
your
had
guy,
talked
Mike,
about.
wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was my guy. So good stuff, but I think Jake, I'm
Matthew
with you all
Bergeron.
day. We
Fell
gotta
right
go
into our lap.
tackle. Welcome to the Buffalo Bills, Matthew Bergeron. Yes,
That's
I'm loving
beautiful.
this. If this happens 1-2, and we got that tackle
I'd be
and that
pumped.
linebacker,
Yeah.
No,
Oh
I'm
my
definitely
God.
wouldn't be angry at all. It's just
Oh,
it's showing how insane the talent drop off is for interior offensive line and tackle. So if you ignore it in the first and second, you're probably gonna have to ignore it all the way through.
Yeah.
where do you want to
Let's,
look, Jake? We've got our
let's-
linebacker out of the way. We've got our.
Let's take a look at
tackle.
receivers.
All right, let's take a look at receivers.
Curious to see who's available here.
Michael Wilson still being available. That's a little surprising.
Yeah, that's really good value
Guy
in the third
Wheaton's
round.
there.
Yeah, I think it's a bit early for him.
Okay.
A lot of people have him as a potential fifth, fourth rounder, maybe mostly fifth though. Okay, this is interesting. I really like Jaden Reed a lot. I'm a big fan of him. He can also return punts. I know we probably wouldn't use him for that at all. He doesn't fit your criteria. I think he might actually. No, I was gonna say I don't think he is.
It's
6
not
foot.
even like it's okay if he's 5'11". Be over 200 pounds, man. Come on.
We're at $105 thanks to that Jake right there.
Oh my
Jake
gosh! Did I
said
say it?
Yeah.
Wow. So
That's
Michael
crazy.
Wilson, Michael Wilson. He definitely fits your criteria.
6'2", 213. That's pretty good
And
number.
what I do like with him is that he does bring some experience to the table. The
Well, let me
Bills have
say-
not drafted a receiver beyond the fourth or earlier than the fourth round.
Well, let me say
Since
this.
Brandon
Let me say
Beane's been
this,
in office.
Jake. We got two gems that we could go another position because one of our
We could.
gems will be there. Let's look. I mean, I'm okay with Wilson. He fits my
Yeah.
what I need, my requirements. But what else you want to look at here potentially?
Let's take a look at
damn it! I said it.
a look at defensive linemen
I was stretching.
inside the interior defensive
Mark me
linemen.
down for another one.
I didn't say it
So our
once
boy
tonight.
Morrow's
Not to
there.
brag.
Wow, that's crazy.
What about
This is the-
what about safeties?
Okay.
What about
Curious.
quarterback?
The only thing with safeties, Jake, I really feel like Christian Benford. They're going to
I
give
know
him
what you
some
mean.
time there. We got Cam
with you.
Lewis. I would hate to see this guy get drafted in the third round and just kind of do nothing and get traded away at some point. Or
Right. No, I hear you there. I think there is a lot of
No, he didn't. It doesn't count.
there's a
He's
lot
a-
of potential. I'm just gonna say it because
Oh,
get it out of the way. There's another $5. All right.
Well, just remember, if you say less than half the word, it doesn't count. So you could have got away with that.
I'm feeling generous tonight.
You're almost.
That's
at-
why I was
you're at
kinda
9
like-
total now.
I was
Yeah.
stuttering my words when I was trying to talk, and I'm like, I can't say the words, so
Can't
I
say
have
it.
to. I have to think about
Do
what
you
I'm
wanna
saying
look-
before I
We
say
should
have
it.
the tight ends too.
we should look
Also, when you
edge.
think about it, it's strengthening our brain too because we're thinking every time we talk now to try to
Yeah.
train our brain not to say the word. So,
So
which is
hard.
nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong with the word, but
Right.
we say it all the time.
We
Jake,
say
I
it
just
too
want
much.
to ask you: do you think edge is even an option for us? I mean, do you want to build up? I mean, at least this is the third round. We've been taking people
Right.
in the first two rounds, at least from the third round here. Von Miller, we don't know when he's coming back.
think
Yeah, I
so.
understand it. I definitely understand why you would. Carl Brooks is an interesting prospect just because he's kind of played all over. He has the build of a defensive tackle, but he plays edge and he's quick and he's won a lot of one-on-one matchups with tackles. So for him, obviously, yeah, I
Wow.
mean, 6'4", 300. Yeah, but he could play defensive end. That's the thing with him. He's also a very good run stopper. I think he definitely serves more as a 3-tech, to be honest with you, because I don't know if he'll have the speed to produce like he did in the MAC at the NFL level. And I love my MAC guys, but in all honesty, he's probably a defensive tackle in the NFL. And that's not a bad thing at all. I mean, 6'4", 300, that's bigger than Ed Oliver. So that is a not a bad pick in round 3, in my opinion.
Garrett Williams still being on the board too.
I know. Look at that. Our boy Zach Kuntz is up there too.
I wanted to see who was still available, just tight ends. Oh, he's the next to go on the tight end.
Now, that wouldn't be bad. Like, the 3rd round might be a reach, but for his athleticism, gosh, I mean, he would bring a lot to the table. I think, honestly, it's between him and probably Carl Brooks.
Okay. So, Carl Brooks, according to PFF,
That's
is
Isaiah
much
McKenzie for a
better
second.
value.
Great value. Yeah, I think what really is pushing him down a little bit on these draft boards is just the fact that people don't really know where to put him because he played all over the field. But this is at Bowling Green. This is not in the NFL. No offense to Bowling Green. They play in the MAC. Listen, I love the MAC. Khalil Mack came from the MAC, played at UB. And there's a lot of good ball players in the MAC. But I think that's the biggest thing with him is there's a big question mark on where he fits best. But the Bills love a guy like that. They love a guy that's versatile. So
yeah,
I'm good with
it. The versatility, especially with the Bills rotating their defensive line as much as they do. You can bring in Carl Brooks, and he can play so many different positions.
Right. Let's take him. And by the way, guys, for anyone that just joined, we did trade for DeAndre Hopkins in this scenario, okay? So it happened. So we got our guy. We got DeAndre. Traded away at Oliver potential. Oh, gosh.
Oh, gosh.
There's another one.
So, JD, I want to say we had this gentleman or female, I don't know, JD1. I'm a Raiders spy. By the way, Josh Allen is overrated. Take care.
Wow.
Welcome to the Buffalo Bills, Carl Brooks. His first time we've really talked about him much. But I think linebacker, we filled that linebacker position. Got another edge guy. Big dude. Very promising. So let's see. Let's see what happens.
A lot of upside with that kid.
We're doing some different things this time around.
I'm trying to think of who he even reminds me of. Gosh. 6'4", 300. I mean, small school kid. Looks like they took Zach Kuntz.
Oh, dude, but we're in the 4th, and we got Wheaton and
Osavas, both there.
Osavas. It looks like they took Kuntz for sure. Yeah, he's gone. Told you that guy's moving up. I mean, when you're 6'8" and you can have what did I say? He had a 40-inch vertical.
Yeah, and he ran what 4.4.
Oh,
Stetson Bennett's still there too.
Good luck with that guy. Who's that?
Stetson Bennett's still there too. He's got a lot of experience. He's like 35 years old.
Unbelievable. I know he does. I think he's 25 actually, right?
Yeah.
Like legitimately.
26 when he gets drafted.
Jake, I'm good with receiver. I mean, I'm good with Ford. I'm good with Andre. I mean, I'll let you make the call. Unless you truly want to go somewhere else, but I think we need to get a big receiver that's going to make a difference.
And I'm telling you something here that is hard for me to say because I really do love Bryce Ford Wheaton. There's a guy right in between the two of them who we have not talked about at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, talk about him.
He's about 6'2", I think. 6'2" in cleats, I could tell you that. I think he's, 6'2".
Okay,
6'2",
he's over 200. Nice.
He's an outside guy. He's got a really good catch radius, awesome hands. And then you look at his production, what he did. 107 catches for 1171 this year, Mike. Played in the Big 12, too, so he was playing against good competition. I wouldn't mind taking him. So I'm thinking my pitch is to actually take the guy right in between the two of those.
All right, I like it. He played some pretty darn good teams, struggled against TCU.
He played against LT's nephew in that game, I believe.
Okay. I'm good with
it. But I really like this kid. His stock is going up a little bit, and this is really good value here, I think, in the 4th round.
All right. I personally would have went with Andre, but since the boys before us took Andre and made me happy, let's go.
Switch it up.
Let's go with Xavier Hutchinson.
Plus, we know what grade we're going to get if we do take him. So
this is Brett's strategy. Brett Brett practices these things, and he knows exactly what guy's going to get him a good score.
Exactly.
So he goes with that. Here we are. We are in the 5th round.
Fifth round. Okay, so let's take a look at safety.
Yeah, Hick.
All right, I like this. Yeah, Ronnie Hickman's there. That
Hard
might
to
not be a bad pick.
Shamari Connor.
Shamari
Scott
Connor.
Lawrence, is that?
Yeah, I
that
think you look at
Lawrence's
two
brother?
guys for late round, like late round, 5th and 6th rounds. Shamari Connor.
Let me
and
check this
Quindell
guy out.
Johnson.
He's got to be over 6 feet. All right, he's
Beats
right
it
at
exactly.
6. All right, I can deal
Yeah.
with him.
Is
Just
Rashad
think of the
Lawrence
It's
Osiris'
not a bad
brother?
option. I think at this point it probably is best available. Go take a look at linebackers actually, just quickly too. I'm curious to see if Dorian Williams if he was taken.
Oh, he'd be gone.
Was
by now.
taken.
Okay, so Cam Jones is there. Yeah. Where are we in the 5th round now? Yeah, never
Yep.
mind. Okay.
Best available.
Yeah,
We already took an edge, so edge is, I think, Ronnie Hickman.
Did
I
you
like
take-
that.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel good
Okay.
about that pick.
Welcome to the Buffalo Bills, Ronnie Hickman. Bills Mafia, super excited so far.
I think
with
they're feeling great about
first
this
5
draft.
rounds. I mean,
Yeah.
we're running into work the next day. We can't wait to get there and talk
Right.
draft. This is it, though. This is the pick. This guy will be a starter on this team. He'll actually.
Pick. I'm
Have a huge
hoping
impact.
a kid named Jake Andrews is available out of Troy as a center. I think that's a gem
Ooh,
that is
ooh.
potentially a 6th round pick.
Oh,
And I said it again.
Said it again. Son of
Oh
a.
my gosh. How do I do this?
11 times, Jake.
11
Today?
today? 55
No,
bucks?
total.
Oh my
thank
God.
11 for
Great.
Jake.
Wow.
Jake Andrews, look at that.
Is that who you wanted?
Yeah, that's my guy here, Mike. Reason being, he's a
What
center.
about Clayton Toon?
Don't know a whole lot about him, to be honest with you.
He's a quarterback.
Okay.
So
I was going to say,
I
didn't do
wish.
a whole lot of studying
So
on him.
6'3", he looks like he could play guard as well, right?
He is, I would say he's similar to Luke Whippler. Very similar in terms of play style and kind of what he brings to the table. Also very
Aiden
similar
O'Connell, though?
with
Yeah, Aiden
height and
O'Connell's
weight.
there still.
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell. You'll get an A+ for that pick.
Oh, yeah, we would.
You're doing
Brett
best
already knows.
available.
Brett already knows.
I love the Jake Andrews one just because I do think he actually has an NFL-ready frame.
I love
And
it.
his name's
Let's go.
Jake.
Lock
his
it in.
name's
Yeah,
Jake. Can't
of
beat
course. Gotta go for that. Here we go. Welcome to the Buffalo Bills, Jake Andrews.
Isn't
Here
that
we go.
Aiden guy the guy that said he was the best quarterback in the draft?
I think so, yeah.
Or is,
Yeah,
or is it the guy from Kentucky? I can't remember. One of them said
Will
I'm the
Levis.
best.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was
Will
Will.
Levis.
Yeah.
But he said he made a comment about something. I can't remember what it was, but he made a
Oh.
comment about being one of the best quarterbacks in the draft.
Yeah, okay.
But
Mike, I feel like we did pretty good here.
I think so. I'd be pretty
Everybody's-
happy with.
I think it's a B minus.
I like
think
that
so,
we
too.
had options at receiver. Here we go. Here we go.
I think it's great, but they'll give you a B minus.
What?
Oh, D plus on the
plus?
Jack Campbell pick? Come
Are
on.
you kidding me?
Look at Jake Andrews.
This is
and
why
Ronnie Hickman,
PFF
though.
is just, they've lost their minds.
Well, you rounded off with 2 A's. That's good.
Yeah, we did strong in the last rounds. I like the Carl Brooks, Matthew Bergeron strong, and
A lot of great picks.
these
there.
guys are. I don't know who's
That's
at
wild,
PFF.
man.
I'm going to send them a complaint. So great stuff, B. We would have if Campbell was bumped up. I mean, but still, even DeJuan Jones was only a C. Are you kidding me?
no.
But
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. A D plus. I mean, come on. What is that?
it would have been interesting. I would love to see what the Wheaton wide receiver would have brought. We know that Osavas would have probably brought a D. I think you guys got a D plus with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been
Yeah, if you
interesting to
picked
see.
him, we
what
would have got
they-
the same.
Probably would have been
same
similar.
grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have
But
been
I
an
like these. I actually do like Xavier Hutchinson a lot. He's definitely growing on me a little bit, especially as a day 3 kid.
I will say this: if this was our draft, I would not be disappointed. I'd be very happy with that. So
Yeah.
Even split offense and defense.
yeah. And we didn't go. Well, we did go early, but there's that linebacker. There's that big physical linebacker.
Beautiful.
All right, that was fun, guys. Way over.
Yeah. What the
over.
heck?
I
We said it
mean,
was going to be a short show.
we just can't get it done. I don't know, but I hope everyone out there enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. We'll
Sean,
be
do you
coming-
Do you have the tally board before
Yeah,
we
what's the
end up?
tally right
Yeah,
now?
let me count. It takes me a
I'm
minute.
definitely leading the pack. What, I
I
got 11.
added like at least 3 today, if not more.
80, 95. Wow. Well, I lost count. You just talk about something else real quick. Hold on, sorry.
Well, I was just curious to count per person.
30, 35.
Well, if everyone's wondering what we're doing, we got a little jar that we're putting $5 in for every time we say the word, and I posted it in the channel. And if you catch us and let us know, it was funny. Somebody actually commented over on our side on Nickel City Mafia, and they caught Brett saying it, and they actually put the timeline.
That's
like, you
amazing.
guys-
Well, I never added it in here, so I got to add that for Brett too.
I
Whoa.
freaking love it, man.
So
Man.
we're at one.
Stop calling me out, guys.
We're at 130 total.
Holy
Wow.
crap.
Jake has 11 total.
Hey, you're welcome.
Mike has 5. Brett has 8, and I have 2.
I don't know how you did it, Sean. I think you spoke less today. You talked
Money
less today.
motivator.
That was it.
Clearly,
But,
I just want to piss it all away,
Well, Jake,
which
didn't
does
have to
add
have
up because I
6.
do spend.
Jake purposely said it at least once, so
Oh yeah,
he could have had 5 today.
I was
but-
feeling generous.
Big
Hey,
L
well-
said you're going to have to get a side job to pay for this.
I
in
know,
your,
I know. Holy
and
smokes.
also the bar bill tab that you're going to have.
But
Yeah, I'm
remember,
screwed, man.
there's 2 weeks left of this, and if we'll say we do the same thing the next 2 weeks, that's a $260 prize.
That's pretty
So that's
good.
that could even be probably an autographed,
Yeah.
pretty good jersey because the best jerseys are like $100-something bucks, and then
Yeah.
if you get one with like an autograph on it, so it'll be pretty good.
Be a
You're gonna
nice
have to
prize
hope,
for a
Yeah.
viewer. Yeah,
you're gonna have
Yeah,
to hope that we say it a few more times.
that's right. Try to
But
bait
even
us.
so, if we never say it again the rest of the 2 weeks, you can get a good prize for what we raised, and then if it's something Bills related, it had to be Jake to buy it because he's the only one in Buffalo. So we'll send him all the money.
Run
Yeah.
right over there right now if you
That'll
want.
save us a little money for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, listen, let's wrap this up. It was fun. We're going to do, we'll go to the defensive line next week on our next show. Lots of fun tonight. I want to say thank you again. If you're new to our channels, you got Sean over on the Red, White, and Bills. You got Brett on the Go Bills podcast. You got Jake and myself over on Nickel City Mafia. Find your way over to all 3 channels. I don't know where you're watching tonight. You could be on one of our 3 channels, but find your way over. We do a lot of collaborations, and drop a nickel on that subscribe button for all of us, please. We really appreciate it. So, Jake, wrap it up for us. I'll go to each one of you. Give us your closing thoughts.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, to start the show off, I wasn't totally sold on the linebacker position, but you guys got me pretty fired up. I will say Jack Campbell, I know we got that D+ on the mock draft, but God, I mean, Brian Urlacher 2.0, if that's really the real deal, and that's, if you squint hard enough and you do see Brian Urlacher, then I think he's going to be Brian Urlacher 2.0. So wouldn't mind him as a first-round pick. It's definitely grown on me. This is one of the most athletic linebacker classes I think I've seen in recent memories. So you're getting a really, really athletic kid no matter what if you draft one in the first 3 to 4 rounds. So pretty awesome stuff, guys. You did a hell of a job out there. I'm not going to say any more because I'm afraid I probably will say the P word. So it's always a pleasure, boys.
I know this will keep everyone from speaking a little longer. Let me throw it to you, Brett.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jake, what you said. I do think that the amount of difference in the draft class from the beginning with the linebacker position to the second and third round, you can see where the amount of I'm trying to think of the right word to say, but the rankings aren't that high or that different, because you can potentially, and I'm going to put it in there for you, Jake, because I'm trying to catch up.
135.
I'm trying to catch up with you, buddy. I got you on that. So I wanted to add it in there. I did that on purpose. Honestly, I did. So I wanted to.
Hannah is like looking at him like, we got a wedding, dude. Why are you saying these things?
$5 is
Purpose.
$5. I'll throw
Sorry,
it in there.
Hannah.
Well, it's not just $5.
It's 45 now.
45. Yeah.
It's $45, but I do think that in the third round you can find a starting middle linebacker for a team, and that's something that in the past few years you haven't really seen. So the value throughout the draft, and even Sean, when we got to the 6th round, you could see somebody that can come in and compete and play for a questionable, and maybe I'm trying not to use the word. I was trying to figure what to say. You question if he can be a starting player for the Buffalo Bills. So I'm looking forward to what we see in training camp, and the player that we can fill in the position that we need to fill in. So looking forward to that. But guys, it's been incredible being with you guys again. I can't wait for another show too. So Jake, your knowledge for the game, cannot believe everybody that you know, and I need to get better. I need to get better at that. And
it's actually a sickness.
Thank you for getting ahead of me on the P word. That I'm very glad that I'm not in first place now. And Mike and Sean, you need to say it a little bit more. So if you can, get ahead of me so that we can get this thing up to $300 and get an actual jersey for somebody that's autographed.
Yeah, Sean's been drinking some new juice or something, and it's making his brain work even more efficient than us. So he's able to filter that out a lot quicker than we are. So close it out for us, Sean.
Also, what helps the most is you think of all the bills you have to pay, and then you're just like, I can't say this because then that's less I have to. Like phone bill, oh dang, groceries, gas, car. Like, oh, shit. So
Sean's got this list right in front of him that we don't see.
Yeah. And then my wife's ready with her fist to say it again. But
Sean, do you have like all the synonym words that are like
I had
right in front of you, and you're looking up, going, okay, this word I can say, this word I can't say.
I had it pulled up the last couple times. I didn't do it today though, but
oh man,
I didn't need it today. Luckily, I was a perfect 0.
Wow,
it was awesome. But no, I'll probably say it again eventually. But I love working with you guys, since I still remember from when Brett was Buffalo Bills Report, and Mike reached out to me almost a year ago at this point, and was like, I got this guy named Jake, he knows everything, but we'd love to have another guy join us once in a while. And I said, oh sure, I'd love to do something like that. And then it blossomed to this
beautiful,
great friendship. And Jake, it's not a sickness, it's you're a Rolodex of football knowledge, which is great. Not many people have a Jake Podger or a Mike or a Brett. I'm not going to say me because I'm easily replaceable.
Come on.
But we do a great job here, not just trying to toot our own horns, but we just love this stuff, and we hope that you guys enjoy it with us as always. And again, we couldn't do it without you, even though it's something we love. The fans that watch, it makes it even more fun, and your input matters to us. And
we got to come up with a segment name for us, because I feel like we're missing that. I know it's we're on the Nickel City Mafia, we're on the Red, White, and Bills, we're on Go Bills podcast, but we don't have a name. And I'd love the viewers to give us a name. So if you have anything in mind that you want us to be called, let us know in the comments.
That'd be cool.
That's something that
keep it PG.
Yeah,
it cannot have the P word in it.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Yeah.
That's
that would be funny. Somebody's gonna say that, that.
And maybe as we all continue to grow as channels, we could eventually have our own group name branched off of our channels into one channel, and then you still gotta Go Bills podcast, Liquid City Mafia, White and Bills. Yeah. But then when we do our once a week or whatever, hopefully we do it more than once a week once the season starts, but then we could stream just from that one page. But that's in the future once we keep continuing to grow and reach new heights. But again, can't do it without the people watching, and love you guys and look forward to this every week. And then obviously it's going to pick up more once the season starts, because you can do pre-games and post-games and all that stuff in between. But this is the most fun I know I'm rambling now. This is the most fun I've had so far, because when I first started, I started after the draft, and then I never really watched college football much, and then after I started the channel, I was forced into watching it a little bit more, and because I was limited to just watching Syracuse before, but now I feel like I had to watch more so I can talk about these players and match your guys' energy, and it's been really fun because I didn't know some of the guys that you wanted to talk about too well, and then now we're all learning, and people watching are learning, and then now when draft day comes, I'm not like, who was that guy? Let me look him up.
Yeah.
Now you know 5th round sleepers and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
Because that's what I was my whole time as a fan was I watched the draft and I'd be like, oh, I don't know who Greg Rousseau is, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Let me look him up and look at his stats, and then say, oh, okay. But now we're really diving in, and it's really fun. So great idea that you guys thought of, all of us doing this, and I love you guys. And can we do D tackles if it's between one or the other? Can we do D tackles first, or are we going to do both of them together?
Yeah, we can do them both.
Yeah, we'll do them both together.
You know?
Both, yeah.
Well, I appreciate all you guys. You do a fantastic job. I expect all of you to be seen on ESPN, CBS, Fox someday soon. So I hope they're all looking for you guys, candidates. When you do submit your resumes out there, you're going to be able to say, hey, we do a podcast. Come check us out. Your resume's right here. This is your resume, and I expect big things from you guys. Anyhow, let's go. We'll see you soon. Let's leave you with an amazing outro that we love. Let's go.
Mike, can you say one thing real quick, though? Because I
Yeah.
want to say this real fast, though. I want to apologize to Rachel, though, real quick, because we said we were going to be off of the show in under an hour, and I was wrong. So I want to say that real quick to her. Really sorry. I know
she called BS already. She already knew, man. She's
she
like,
called
yeah,
BS, but I mean, hey, I want to make sure that she knows from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry that we went over by about twice as much.
Just doubled it, you know?
You know what she does? She doesn't watch her show, but she'll watch her show when she wants to see if I've gone over what I told her. So, honey, I love you. I know you're checking it out. You're like, oh my, you went 2 hours. All right. Anyhow, take care, guys. We'll see you soon.
Hey, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Bills Mafia, circling the wagon, you feel me? Nickel City Mafia, let's go! Josh Allen, quarterback supreme, leading the Bills to the top of the league. Weapons by his side, and that defense hella mean. Buffalo's got a team that must be seen. I said Buffalo's got a team that must be seen. Yeah. Come on. J17 leading the charge. Buffalo Bills on the rise. Passing game on point. Ain't no mirage. Happening right in your eyes. Ain't no surprise. Buffalo stacking the QB. Stephon Diggs holding in the pass. Group cars in having go deep. We're circling wagon. Just wait and see. From Wyoming to the NFL, Josh Allen's got the skills. Air raid, deep ball, touchdown for real. Leading the Bills to playoff drills. Real time, this ain't no drill. Cold game, we're giving them chills. Check the score, now you know the deal. Nickel City Mafia.